Hello everybody, and welcome back to Honkai Impact 3rd. So, let us wrap up Chapter 25 EX here. We've got this thing, we've got this thing, and then we've got this last little section here. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but the last one was like an hour and a half long, so it's fine if this one runs a bit shorter. A few days ago, with a few wrist twists, Solium threads reached out from the fair-haired man's sleeves. He is using these threads to control the puppet, just like how this puppet was controlling the tin puppets. He injected his electronic neurons into the puppet like a Trojan program and calmly watched the Hersher from a distance. The 10th Hersher, Hersher of Dominance, a collection of thousands of minds connected to a myriad of fragile puppets. As someone who also had a distributed mind, he found it a perfect victim. He is watching idly as it provokes each Hersher in turn, as it is almost wiped out by anti-entropy, and watching as it forces K423 to duel with the other half of Siren's consciousness. Oh, god damn it, we're doing this again, huh? He was confident. He knew these kids raised up by Teresa would win. But he wasn't interested in their growing up stories, because of course you aren't. He needed to snatch the Hersher core capable of creating unique spaces before anyone did. And the opportunity came to him. When the 10th Hersher was fighting K423, there was no way it realized the rat among its puppet army. Thus, at the very moment when the newborn Hersher of Flame Scion swung the blade of conviction, he got his hands on the 10th Hersher's core. All warfare is based on deception. He saw no shame in this. Before the core's connection to the imaginary space was cut, he quickly examined this spatial power that didn't belong to the Hersher of the Void. And exactly then, he was dragged into a white void by an intangible force. He didn't expect this, but he wasn't afraid. 17 years ago, he had visited this place, and back then, he hadn't adapted to any thinking pattern that's not human. He remembered he came up with a question in a hurry. Before the question was formed and uttered, the answer had surged into his mind. It was so deep and profound that no brain could have kept it. After the moment, he did believe the one before him was an almighty god. A god won't mind any man's thoughts, just like a man won't mind any ant's thoughts. But that remained an unconfirmed assumption. It wasn't a precondition or truth. 17 years later, he had now grasped the priceless data from Project Valuka. He knew this existence that dwelled in the void only had more knowledge than any human. Knowledge is, of course, a source of power, but knowledge itself isn't power yet. A tick looks just as tiny as an ant, but unlike an ant, it carries numerous viruses and can make a human who sits at the top of the food chain suffer from hemorrhagic fever and beg for a quick death. So, in their second encounter, he could face the existence calmly.
17年ぶりにまた会ったね。崩壊の意志よ。
Yeah, there's the translation I know.
ああ、僕はある方法であなた様に対してより正確な認識を手に入れた。 あなた様は世界の規則を変えられない。あなた様は人類の暮らす世界に直接降臨できない。あなた様の使徒、律者の多くは自身の力を理解できていない。あなた様の後ろにある虚数の木が果てしない海だというなら、あなた様自身は本当は浅い海峡に過ぎないのだろう。もちろん、どんな海峡でも数千万人のオットーアポカリプスを溺死させるには十分だが。
I wish you would drown thousands of times.
その通り。それこそがこのオットーアポカリプスがやろうとしていることだ。干渉しようとしないあなた様に対し、僕は感謝する。しかし、あなた様は本当にあのケビン・カスラナを止めるつもりはないのかい？あなたたちは古い知り合いなのだろう？なるほど。それは僕とは縁のないことだ。それに、人類のやり方であなた様の求めるものを図るべきではないだろう。では、よろしく頼むよ。
Huh. Interesting. So, does the will of Honkai have a name? My name is Elizabeth McSmith. Nothing special about it. When I was named, my dad didn't give it much thought. Why does her name have to be special? Isn't Beth cute? However happy my dad is with this name, it's rarely used now. For reasons I can't blame on others, people now call me by an exotic Far Eastern name. Nagamitsu. Not that I'm remotely connected to the Far East. It all started 5 years ago.
すみません。ここが戦闘1504長光17世研究所ですか？ええ、私が所長本人だけど、あなたはオットーさんが言ってたビアンカさんかしら？はい、長光さんと呼んでもいいですか？
Oh my god, look at how baby Durandal was.
すみません。私何か間違えましたか？
The youngest A-rank Valkyrie in history made a huge mistake. Nagamitsu the 17th was simply part of the lab name, some sort of ancient legacy. In the year 1504, a bladesmith from the Far East set up a workshop at Shiksal. Later on, the workshop turned into a design institute and then a lab. The Nagamitsu name refused to die and stuck with it. Which is to say, the original Nagamitsu workshop has seen 16 different masters or directors to become the lab it is now. And in no way is the name associated with Elizabeth McSmith. Of course, she could have clarified it, but she didn't bother. So she answered like this.
いいえ、気にしないで。はい、長光さん。
Maybe it was because people found it interesting. Maybe because Elizabeth McSmith sounded a mouthful. Or maybe it was too hard to tell the 6 Smiths and 3 Elizabeths apart at the HQ. Probably that last one. And a little bit of the first. Anyway, Nagamitsu became my new name that day. But that's not the point. At least back then, my attention wasn't on the name at all.
もし私の体から全文明の遺物を取り出すことができる場所があるとしたら、それは戦闘1504研究所だと司教様は言いました。
I understood immediately. Mr. Apocalypse sent me another test subject that he had lost interest in. The naive me thought this was just a simple case of something being left accidentally in her body. So I assured her and arranged a full set of examinations. Of course, the test results hit me hard the very instant I got my hands on them. It's way beyond the reach of any medical measures. X-ray, ultrasonic, MRI, they all returned no anomaly. No sign of Honkai energy leak either. The trying lasted for half a year. Until one day, out of desperation, I tried measuring neutrino radiation on her, and I was shocked to find her body was emitting more neutrinos per second than 10 nuclear power plants. Unless there was a black hole in her heart or under her belly button. I had to admit the impossible. A huge and stable space was somehow folded up inside her body.
よかった。反転した後、世界の泡は本当に安定したんですね。ずっと気になっていたんです。ありがとうございます。
From that day on, this passionate girl became a frequent visitor of the lab. She cared more about her inner neutrino radiation than her body measurements. As time passed on, I heard a lot of bizarre stories about another world from her. Shakespeare, the submarine piloting pirate, Thoreau, the founder of the Republic of South American Aboriginals, Watt, the brain-computer interface engineer. And I got to witness her fiery passion become deeper, more intense, but also more reserved as her age grew. For the Schicksal rookies, it was impossible to imagine the silent, calm Valkyrie Durandal had a heart that burned brighter than fire.
長光さん、私が今まで何回検査を受けたのか、そういうデータはありますか？パソコンにあると思うけど、ちょっと確認するわね。今回で216回目、ちょうど6の3乗よ。長光さんは相変わらず数字に敏感ですね。覚えてますか？私が2回目か3回目に来た時、あなたは17とはどういう数字なのかを私に説明しようとしました。あら、あの件ね。
What's special about the number 17?
はい。あの時は正17角形はなぜ定規とコンパスによって作図できるかを私に強引に説明しようとしていましたね。今思い返すと穴があったら入りたい気持ちでいっぱいよ。何よ、その無理な話題作りは。恥ずかしすぎるわ。
No, I'm curious.
あら、いい思い出だと思ってますよ。少なくとも唯一無二の思い出です。そう思いませんか？
You're the one that's truly unique. Bianca Durandal Atagina. Atagina? I don't know. I know it sounds absurd saying this from where I stand, but I do wish to keep supporting you until the day your dream comes true. Until the day you find yourself a new dream. Oops. I'm really not like the Valkyries. I'm essentially evil. Alright. It was the day after the conclusion of the experiment.
みんなが全力で協力してくれたおかげで昨日の実験を円満に終わらせることができた。これからそう遠くない未来、天命は崩壊と対抗してきた人類の歴史に決定的な一歩を踏み出せるだろう。もちろんきっとみんなも分かっているとは思うが、人類の歴史において決定的な進歩には一部、時には多くの者たちの利益を犠牲にする場面がある。しかし人類全体にとってはそういう犠牲は限られた一時的なものであるということに僕たちは目を向けなければならない。ネゲントロピーが邪魔をしてくるかもしれないし、ヨルムンガンドも物質的な手助けをしてくれないかもしれないが、 天命という要塞が地平線にある限り、人類はこの一歩により明るい未来を迎えるだろう。
I still think this new hairstyle looks really bad on him.
おっとさ、その長話はまだ終わらないの？本当に大事な話はこの後でしょ？
では、要点だけ言おう。これからの任務を計画通りに遂行するために、主教としてみんなに天命最後の S 級バルキリーを紹介しよう。僕本人がこの座を降りるまで、今後の任務の中で彼女は君たちと密接な連携を取ることになる。
Following Otto's introduction, a new face appeared for the first time in Schicksal HQ. Like the completion of the experiment, her appearance marked a new stage in the Overseer's life's work. The dice had been rolled. The dusty old wheels of destiny began to turn once again. Oh, that's it? I mean, there's this also. Oh.
以上、このオットーアポカリプスは本日をもって天命主教の座を退き、組織を抜けさせてもらう。
Oh? Oh shit. Sushan? Oh shit, May's here too?
"そろそろ約束を果たしてもらおう、古き友よ。僕は来たよ、カレン。
Oh, I'm not ready to get into this arc. I am not emotionally ready. Thankfully, I still have Elysian Realm Chapter 2 to do before that. But oh man, I'm not ready. I have not even been recording for 20 minutes. Well, I did say this was probably going to be a shorter episode. So, I will see you all next time.